Hello once again and welcome back to another episode of Father and Sundays, the unexplainable guide to absolutely nothing. This week is episode 131.
131?
And we are talking about the Doctor today.
Doctor Who?
Exactly. So stick around if you want to hear more. Hello Dad, how are you?
Yeah, hello Connor. Yes. Hello Connor. Yes, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yep, great, thanks.
Yes, excellent. That's good to hear. What have you been doing with yourself? And that's not a personal question. Well, just generally, I haven't seen you. I have seen you. So I saw you yesterday, but I've been away for a week, so I haven't seen you for and I saw you this morning. Yeah, but apart from this morning and yesterday and last Monday morning, I haven't seen you. So what have you been up to? I
video called you at one point.
Apart from this morning, yesterday, Monday morning, and the video call, I haven't seen you much this week.
No, I haven't.
No. So how the devil are you?
Yeah, I'm alright, thanks.
Yeah. What have you been up to?
Not a lot. I was working a couple of days for a few days.
You had a couple of days off though, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a couple of days off.
Because you like to be able to enjoy this
time
when we're off.
When you're off.
Which is, you book off time so that you can have the place to yourself completely. Is that right?
I book off time when Mum's off because where she works from home and works with children, there's often children here.
So it's nothing to do with me then, it's just to do with Mum.
I also book off time, sometimes I book off time when you guys aren't here because it gives me a little bit, like when it comes to, I don't know, just having the house to yourself and...
Walking around, tackle out, yeah?
Yep. Coming home,
tackle out.
Like if I come home from work, and obviously then you got to do cooking and stuff like that. But sometimes if I have the day off, then it makes everything a bit easier.
Wow.
Yep.
Can't always do that though, can you?
No, I can't walk around my tackle out when you're here.
No, I'd rather you didn't. And you were a bit sort of, you were a bit adventurous.
We spoke about it last week, but I had my Gusto box delivered, so I.
Well,
3 meals.
You sent me, in true sort of social media fashion, you sent me pictures of your dinners, which I had asked you to, and I must admit they did look really, really good.
Would you like me to send you pictures of my dinners this week?
What, the ones I make for you?
No, the ones I'm making.
Well, not really, because I'm here.
All right.
So I'll be able to see them firsthand. But if you want to, that's fine, yeah. But no, they did look really good. And did you enjoy making them? Or
I enjoyed the second two.
The second time. I know
the first one was stressful, and then my back hurt.
Oh, your back hurt? Yeah. Oh, my God.
I had to have a lay down.
How are you making them? My back don't hurt when I cook all the time.
It's just a standing up, isn't it?
It's a standing up? Oh, my goodness. Oh, dear, oh, dear. But no, they look good, and you reckon they tasted good as well, and we might give it a go.
Yeah, especially the last two.
Yes. Excellent.
Which was a spaghetti dish and a pasta dish. Pasta dishes.
Yes. Well, I had many hot dogs while I was away, which is always a good thing.
Classic holiday fashion for you, isn't it?
It is for me, yeah. But usually when I'm in America...
I had 2 Nando's this week.
Did you? Did you have Nando's last night?
Yeah, the only 2 days I didn't cook on, I had Nando's.
God.
So I went... I'll talk about it in a minute, but I went around Becky's last night and Sam's.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, I went to Suffolk. I went to various different seasides.
What happened? What did you do for your week off?
I went to Suffolk. I went to various different seasides and that, but which was very pleasant with my good wife. And we walked along hand in hand.
Bad wife that you've got.
Yes, hand in hand, skipping, gazing into each other's eyes and things like that, as you can tell. I can skip. All the others is a lie.
but when was the last time you skipped?
I skip all the time.
Do you?
Yeah, I probably skipped this morning.
Because a lot of people, I see videos where people go, skip for us. So they ask like a grown man, skip. And he's like, yeah, I can skip. He said, are you sure you can skip?
It's a bit awkward when you start.
And
you've got to get in a rhythm.
Can't remember how to skip.
No, I think probably now I think about it. But I can skip. You've got to kind of, skip. You've got to kind of sort of, it's a fluid movement with your legs.
I might ask you to do it after this.
I might do it after this. I don't need a bit of a distance, so I might have to do it outside, but it's kind of a, yeah.
You do it down the street?
Yes, in fact, I probably could do it for my country. Which brings us on to the other thing that's happened this week. I would just like to add, I saw lots of seagulls and it's a lot of farming areas around there, so I saw a lot of sheep and some polar bears. Yeah, because I went to Jimmy's farm and it was very good.
We spoke about when I went there, didn't we?
Yes, we did, and it was brilliant, and I'd thoroughly recommend it. Anyway, The other thing that's happened.
The other thing that happened, so I got invited around Becky and Sam's last night because they didn't realise you were going to be back.
Yeah.
And we went to watch the opening ceremony of the Olympics, Paris 2024.
Yes, I did see some of it. And
did you fall asleep?
No, I didn't fall asleep.
I think most people did.
I think I lost interest, which is very much the same thing. But this is really... I'm going to have to explain this, right? Behind you is a big screen, your big telly, and it's the cycling. I don't know what sort of cycling. It's pursuit or I don't know. But it's out on the road races, yeah. But they seem to be in sync, so it's a time trial by the look of it. But I've seen... couple of people stack, and that person just stacked a second ago, and it's quite difficult to see when above your head there.
Would you like to turn it off?
No. You went round. Yeah, it was very confusing, wasn't it, the Olympic ceremony?
Well, I think the thing with the Olympic ceremony is they tried to do it a bit different. They did it on a river rather than doing it in a stadium, which is, give them that. Yeah. And I don't think they were helped by the fact that the weather was so awful.
Oh, it was pretty grim, wasn't it?
But I'm going to be perfectly honest. The parade where they normally bring in all the countries, is normally quite slow and goes on for ages. But that one felt particularly slow because they spread it across the entire thing. I personally wasn't much of a fan of it because even the stuff where they were doing shows where there was people dancing, all this kind of stuff, because the boats were still going, you kept looking at the boats and then they were panic, and it ended up all these people doing all these different performances weren't actually watched because you're busy watching the boats, and then you'd miss out some of the boats because you're watching the... And I'll be honest, I think it was a nice try. Don't think it worked particularly well.
It was no president parachuting into the stadium, was it? It was not like
comparing it because our Queen parachuted into the...
Oh yeah, she was up for it and she sort of parachuted out of a plane into a helicopter. Yes, it was. Definitely the Queen, because then she ran off and you saw her coming into the royal box in the same clothes. So explain that, Connor.
Yeah, very quickly.
No, don't. No. So no, I mean, we've watched a bit of Olympics this morning. It's quite exciting. It's quite difficult.
We won our first medal.
Yeah, it's quite difficult to gauge how they're doing, and we've been watching. I've got quite a lot of experience in diving, so I've been explaining to you when I can actually watch diving and hear the splash and be able to tell you whether it was good or not. I did it this morning.
No, you listened to what the person said after it and then repeated it.
At all. You could tell by the splash how they've entered the water.
You weren't looking at it.
Right. So that's going on. We'll probably be seeing a lot more of that. Hopefully it'll get exciting. It's already quite exciting because we've won, as you alluded to, we've won a couple of medals already. We've won a couple of medals already because there was two of them.
Oh, there was two of them. That's true. It was a synchronised diving event.
Yeah, exactly. So you're wrong and I'm right. So there you go. Excellent. So what are we talking about today?
Oh, right. We're talking about...
Have you got anything else you want to talk about, by the way?
No.
I'm really sorry, but so many people are stacking on this course.
Is it because it's so wet?
Yeah. They keep just going completely wiping out, and then a little man has to run out of the crowd or
just a little man,
to push them.
Not a normal size.
Little man.
It's because they can't. Their feet are attached to the pedals as well.
Yeah, they have to have a standard size man come out because if they have different size men, it would be unfair. So it has to be a standard size of a man.
Just a little man.
Yeah. Okay. So, Doctor Who. Now, I'm surprised we haven't done this as a subject.
Well, you've asked for this for a long time, and I always wanted to avoid doing a topic of something so specific.
Yes.
But eventually I thought, let's just do it.
Let's just do it anyway.
Yeah, because you won't stop talking about it.
No, it's not like I can't stop talking about it. I mean, I think the reason that...
By the way, there's probably going to be quite a few people that haven't got an interest in Doctor Who that might skip this one, but that's okay.
But that's
because
fine.
We've got an interest in Doctor
Who. They'll miss out on a lot. All our Olympics talk.
Yep.
And, yeah. So, Connor, I have a question. Why... I think you love Doctor Who, don't you?
Yeah, I think...
Quite keen on it, anyway.
I do like Doctor Who. I will be honest at this moment in time that I haven't watched the most recent series of Doctor Who. The reason for that is because hopefully not everyone does listen to this episode because my girlfriend is the reason I didn't watch it. because we went. I think we did something on the first Saturday that was on the first 2 episodes or whatever.
But it's interesting because I think a lot of
and I will be honest, she's been away for months, so I could have caught up with it. So that bit's not her fault. But the fact that I missed it in the first place probably.
But we tended to watch these things. It's a sort of thing you watch together, isn't it? So we do it with other series, like sometimes. I mean, it's because we like the same sort of genre, really. So we might watch a Star Wars sort of what would you call it?
Well, we've just watched The Acolyte.
Yeah. So, but we'll watch it together. So that. Well, and even if one of them is ahead, we'll catch up and we'll watch them together sometimes. Well, I think because I ended up watching Doctor Who with your mother, and each week, you could have watched one, and I thought probably you'd watch, and we'd end up watching them all. It just didn't happen, so that's probably why.
I will be honest though, that the most when you talk about Doctor Who and stuff, I think it's fair to say that I used to be a fan of certain Doctor Who episodes more than I am fans of some more recent Doctor Who episodes. There have been some recent series that haven't been as good as previous ones.
From your point of view, yeah.
Yeah.
But why
the later Matt Smith ones?
Oh, right, that's
all the way up until
really. That's a wider section of it than I thought you'd be like about it. Really, that's a surprise to me.
You remember the Matt Smith episode where they had the zombies in the TARDIS?
Well, yeah, that was one episode.
That series was just a bit rubbish, and then ever since then.
Really?
Yeah, but David Tennant came back, and
well, we'll get on to that. So why do you like it then? Why do you like it? What's your introduction to it, and why do you like it again? But why do you like it?
I think when it relaunched, because obviously there was the first.
So there was a classic series.
Classic Who. There's Classic Who, 7 Doctors in that total, and then there was the 8th movie.
Yeah.
So that all happened, and then it stopped for ages, and then Christopher Eccleston was part of the reboot. Now that reboot happened at kind of a perfect time for me because I was a kid in primary school. I don't know, maybe year 4 or 5 or something like that. I don't know.
So it was 2005 that it relaunched.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, fair enough. So I would have been about. Stop pulling faces. Stop looking at the cycling.
I can't help it.
So maybe about 2005. So
2005.
7ish around that age.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm trying to think when in 2005. I might know, but anyway, that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But I suppose that was a prime sort of age.
Good kind of age. I think the first episode I watched was a one with Daleks in, where the in Chris Ferguson series, one with the Dalek, where he needs to go upstairs, and then they always think the Dalek will not be able to go upstairs, and then he goes, elevate, and then he goes up the stairs.
Yeah,
that's the first episode I watched.
Oh wow! So your first introduction.
Was it called Dalek?
It was called Dalek. Yeah. Singular. So
because they only had one.
There was only one in it. It's interesting. That's your first introduction to it.
Yeah, then I had to go back and watch the earlier episodes.
Oh right, I didn't realise. I thought you watched from the very beginning. The two of us sat there and watched it, but that's not the case.
No, because you watched it, and I think.
Well, no, potentially it might have. I can't remember. It might have been about the 3rd episode, that one. So yeah, probably went back and watched the first 2 after that.
Because I think I watched it. I didn't watch it here. I watched it.
Yeah,
I think I might watch it next door.
But you did watch it. That's true. Yeah, I remember you saying there about that. You did watch some of the classic series, but I can't remember whether you watched that after you started watching.
We did watch it after.
Right, because I quite like Doctor Who. I've liked it.
Mum used to work and did like pampered chef, didn't she? So she used to go out and go do these kind of
we'd have
parties.
Evenings, yeah.
So it would be evenings where it'd just be like us two, maybe the girls and whatever, but the girls would normally be upstairs.
Yeah. So we'd end up watching it.
Yeah.
But I got sort of, and we'll come on to like our favourites and all the rest of it. But so I think I chose a certain few episodes that I thought you might like, that might be more interesting to you. It was quite good. You seem to enjoy those. I mean, obviously, there's a big difference between even some of the stuff I think I showed you stuff from around sort of the early 80s, maybe late 70s, which was Tom Baker. And obviously the effects and everything are completely different. They're starting to try out these new techniques in effects and that, and ways of doing stuff. But certainly there's been a big difference even from 2005 in the effects in them to now. But it would have been very different for you to watch. There was another reason, and I think one of the we've touched on, we had a little chat just beforehand, and and I had it down here, is that when Mum was out, we decided to do some other stuff as well. We decided to actually try and, because you're quite into all that. When you were a kid, you were.
That was after we started watching it.
Yeah.
I think it was after Christopher Eccleston series, the first series it came back. I think we decided.
Oh yeah, because I think
you came home from work one night.
Yeah.
Whilst Mum went off to do her stuff because it was in the evenings.
That's right.
And you went, right, what we're going to do tonight is we're going to make. I think Annie was out.
Yep.
So that was very loud, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very loud. So it was just me, you, and Beck, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you said we're going to make a Doctor Who episode. So we made our own.
We did.
When I said we,
well,
me and Becky starred in it.
You two starred in it.
Although
I did have a little
some roles.
Cameo part. Well, it wasn't a cameo.
You were the monster, wasn't it?
I was the monster. But it was just, it was a bit of fun, wasn't it? We said we'll video it and we'll just have a laugh. And I'd written a sort of little sort of guide of what we were going to do.
You've clearly been really busy at work.
I'd clearly been really busy at work.
Presentation that was the opening for it.
Yeah, which was the opening for it as well. I was just a little bit bored, yeah. And aspiring episode writer. So do you remember what the first one was called? It had because you had this big inflatable Dalek.
Garlic bread with cheese.
It was called Dalek bread.
Bread. I just called it garlic, didn't I?
Yeah, with cheese. No, garlic bread with cheese is just something completely different. You're just hungry,
garlic bread with cheese.
Yes. So that one, I mean, it was great. I mean, you and...
Did it have the giant inflatable Dalek in that one?
Yes, it did, yeah.
I thought it only had the...
It had the cat playing the Yeti.
I thought that was the second one, because the first one was the monster, where we had to throw the...
Oh, you might be right. I'll have to have a look at them again. Smoky bacon crisp that, because smoky bacon. Yes, this will mean nothing to anybody else. This is just a little trip down memory lane for us. We made 3, didn't we? And they got more and more... They got more complex each particular time.
The first one was very basic. We did it one evening. The second one we also did one evening. That had Annie in it, and that had...
I'm not sure that had Annie in it. I think I was only the third one that had Annie.
No, the second one had Annie in it because she turned into a Cyberman. She was working in a shop.
That's right, yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And we had the cardboard boxes for helmets.
Yeah.
And then every time you turn around, you could see the back of someone's head.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much like
Cyberman helmets.
Effects from the 70s.
But we used the exact same cardboard boxes, just coated them with like foil wrapping paper for the third episode. The third episode, I tell you what, the third episode was feature length.
Yeah, the third episode, I'd started getting a little bit carried away with the production of it. So there was music in it, and there was music in the other ones, but there was music throughout the one, and I don't know how long it lasted. But so the second one was called Fashion Victim, because it was about someone her going. I think Becky was playing Rose Tyler, and she went shopping, and then got sort of the
first one I was Christopher Eccleston. The second one I think I was David Tennant.
Yeah. That's right, yeah. And then the third
one, I was David Tennant.
We really went for it because
I remember the name.
Go on.
It was Fistful of Doctors, wasn't it?
It was called The Fistful of Doctors. And basically, it was, you played, I think, certainly the second and fourth
I played the second, fourth, and ninth.
And obviously you were playing the 10th Doctor.
And the third.
And the third Doctor. But, I mean, we just had a lot of fun, didn't we? It was just a great laugh, and it's been subsequently... I think we were banned from playing it for a little while because your sister Annie played the Master in it and had a beard. and was a little bit upset.
She also played Sarah Jane.
She did play Sarah Jane, which is one of the best effects in that particular the knocking on the TARDIS door.
The TARDIS door was a money box.
I had to use perspective and
false perspective.
False perspective, but it didn't work quite as often. But yes, so...
But a lot of that stuff that was in real life Doctor Who, and it was copied from us. It felt like it anyway.
After that one came out, some of the storyline that seemed to come out in other bits and pieces. So yeah, I probably owed a lot of money, and probably not because I shouldn't have been making Doctor Who episodes as it was.
It's for private use. There's nothing wrong with
private
it.
use, but we've had. Although
I will say, during
that
secondary school, actually A levels, I had a group of my friends come over because a number of them were big Doctor Who fans, including my mate Joe, who passed away and stuff like that. Big Doctor Who fans, and they all came around and we watched our homemade Doctor Who episodes one after the other. one evening.
Yep.
That was a good night.
It's bizarre when you do things like that. I can remember all sorts of things. I remember you having a TARDIS money box that I'd suspended from a
I used to have a lot of Doctor Who
string.
stuff.
And then I had some Christmas lights behind a bit of black sort of material that was like the stars, and then I span it in front of it.
Yeah.
And although it was quite obviously what it wasn't too shabby.
No, it wasn't too shabby. And then Doctor Who did a similar thing.
They did indeed. So,
but except higher quality.
Higher quality. Absolutely.
Father and Sundays present Things You Didn't Know That Happened Ages Ago.
When storms destroyed a bridge that Persian king Xerxes had ordered to be built to get to the Greeks faster, he blamed the sea and ordered his soldiers to whip it with chains 300 times. He also had it poked with hundreds of red-hot pokers just to show who was boss.
Very fitting to do things you didn't know on the Doctor Who episode, I think.
Do you think?
I do think.
Because it's something from the past.
Yep.
And he's a time traveller. Oh, very well crowbarred in there. Look,
was it on purpose?
Not particularly, no. I usually look for a feature in these particular ones, and it just happened to be that.
All right.
Thought it was quite funny, really.
Yep.
Some weirdos in the past, really. Anyway, that was our trip down memory lane about us making things. So where did it start?
It's also a rite of passage. I might have to get Lucy to watch it when she's back. It's also a rite of passage.
It's a rite of passage for people to meet our family to feel part of it. I might have to watch it again, actually, because it did make me laugh a lot. I don't know. I'm going to have to locate them. I mean, I'm sure we've got them somewhere anyway. The classic series.
Classic Who.
Classic Who. Now,
as it's fondly called.
1963 it started. The first
before you were born.
It was before I was born. First episode was aired in 1963, titled The Unearthly Child, and starred William Hartnell as a doctor, Carol Ann Ford as Susan Foreman, who was his granddaughter, which obviously didn't happen much after that, having a family member. And there was William Russell playing Ian Chesterton and Jacqueline Hill playing Barbara Wright. A 4-week serial. So basically, we know Doctor Who, or you know Doctor Who now as being one-off episodes.
4 weeks, wow.
Or maybe...
My cereal didn't last 4 weeks this morning.
No, you nearly had it after 12 as well, and I nearly had to take it away from you. Right, so we have it. They sometimes have 2-parters. I think we might have even had a 3-parter in one of the newer episodes. However, they used to just go over a period of weeks.
Yeah.
So... you'd have cliffhangers.
That'd be like one story, wouldn't it?
One story spanned over 4 weeks. I've got to say...
because I remember watching them.
Sometimes
that kind of stuff.
They really dragged it out. So I can remember a particular one of the second incarnation of Doctor Who where he got caught and then he escapes, and then the following week he got caught again. And it felt like they just replayed the same episode over again. But it was over those 4 weeks. So, it was, as I say, it was supposed to be a cliffhanger. Bit of an EastEnders moment at the end where you didn't know whether he was going to survive or not. But like William Hartnell started this off, it was very much not what the BBC were producing at that time, a sci-fi program. You know, people were interested. There was a space race, obviously, and we went. You know, so people were interested in things outside of our world, but. It was very much like, would this work?
It's very niche at the time, wasn't it?
Like, you've got an old man travelling around with his granddaughter. Is it going to be? Is it a kids' program? Is it an adults' program? What is it? And I think there was a lot of confusion, but the people behind it persevered, pushed it through, thank God. I didn't realise that he'd done 134 episodes in the 3 years he did it, William Hartnell, in 3 seasons sort of thing. But
134?
Yeah, 134 episodes, which sounds a huge amount of episodes.
It does sound like a huge amount of episodes.
It does, doesn't it?
Are you questioning it?
I am questioning it now you said it. 3 years he did that in, but that still means he did sort of 40 episodes
40
a season.
A year.
40 episodes a season. But I suppose...
How many seasons did he do?
3 seasons.
3. So 40 episode seasons.
Yeah. Yes, I think that was how it was then.
Yeah, sure.
But one of the massive things behind all this, now, people watching Doctor Who now who know nothing about the history of Doctor Who would say one of the biggest things in Doctor Who is the regeneration. The regeneration wasn't even thought of. The only reason there was a regeneration was because William Hartnell's health was failing him and they needed to either shelf it or reinvent it. And someone come up with the idea, well, actually, and I think he was very reluctant to stop William Hartnell. He was quite a classical actor, but he'd found this fame and, he had grandchildren and they loved the fact that he was a doctor and he could, he could solve anything. He was a bit of a hero. But his health was failing, so they decided they were going to use this technique, regenerate, so he'd become the Doctor, but as a different actor.
I think this is the thing, and that's where it started. The whole Doctor Who's been a bit of a fluid thing throughout the years, even modern Doctor Who as well. Modern Who is a bit more fluid in the fact that when they reach that point of going, oh, this might not work, they retcon something, they change it. So there's been a number of retcons almost throughout the history of Doctor Who and how things have changed, even from the fact of, spoilers, but there used to be the fact that you can only have 13 generations.
Yeah.
And what Doctor
are we on now? Because
never in
their wildest dreams, 15.
15. We're on 15th generation,
Never.
but arguably there was also some extra generations in there as well.
Well, they say that's not the case, but yeah, you're right.
David Tennant was twice.
Yeah, but he was the 14th. So yeah. So,
but then arguably this, I've forgotten how to pronounce his name.
The new guy. Yes, you don't know.
Yeah, you've forgotten how to pronounce.
Ncuti Gatwa.
Oh, you looked it up, didn't you? Ncuti Gatwa.
I thought it was Ncuti Gatwa, and then. I read somewhere and then someone said, no, actually, you pronounce the N at the beginning, you go Ncuti Gatwa.
Anyway, he's being the most recent one. Arguably, he's also the 14th, but he is the 15th.
He is officially the 15th Doctor.
Yeah, but it's funny.
But then you could say there has been other Doctors, and we'll come on to that, but they haven't had a number because they've been on sort of separate dimensions with it.
Or they're before.
But now this regeneration thing, this regeneration thing is part and parcel of Doctor Who. If someone said to you, name 3 things, you might say, TARDIS, the regeneration, the sonic screwdriver. That's Doctor Who. And yet that was never intended at the beginning.
Yeah.
But it's made it so if there's an audience, they can go on forever because they can keep... it can be made fresher, with a new actor. When a new actor comes along and they say, right, take it in a different direction.
It's like with James Bond. James Bond is able to keep on going because, to be honest, they just changed the actor. But none of the stories ever really link, do they? Even going one James Bond film to another, even the number of Daniel Craig films.
I must admit, the first one that's done that, the first one that's ever done that is the Daniel Craig, because there was this build-up of who was behind certain things, and it was always supposed to be like Blofeld behind it.
Yeah.
So that was since the older James Bond films, the first time they really done that was Daniel Craig. So it kind of spined for what led to Spectre, which led to, but they don't. Other than that, they've all been pretty much standalone.
Exactly, and then I think Doctor Who did it differently in the fact that they have linked them all together. In the fact that every single Doctor Who episode is meant to have linked with the previous one, but if meant to link with the first one and stuff like that.
But if you think it's been going since 1963,
have you watched all of them? No,
because
it's near impossible, isn't it?
There's a reason for that
some of them
as well.
Have gone.
Because some of them have gone. So I purchased a DVD box set which has got all of at that point in time had all the existing ones. Now they've tried to sometimes do animated episodes in between
because they had the audio from.
Because basically sometimes. The BBC would record a program, it'd be aired, and then to delete it because they needed the space, and they needed the space as far as that.
And it's funny because back in the day, they never would have thought that they'd end up doing these kind of things.
Exactly
but in hindsight, people go, it seems silly nowadays to have done something like that. But
it made perfect sense then to do it.
Yeah.
It just now everybody's crying out for these, but they keep finding these things.
Yeah, they keep discovering them
in attics and whatever in episodes, and then they because they're very good at. Obviously nowadays you've got the technology to remaster these things, and to even stuff that's degraded quite a bit is still sort of is still able to be done. Right. So this regeneration meant that Patrick Troughton took over.
Yep.
Then we had John Pertwee.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if I remember the John Pertwee episodes or if I remember them after I started watching Doctor Who, going back and watching.
So those are actually, I've just remembered another Doctor, by the way.
Yeah.
Which does mean the numbers of number 15 doesn't match up perfectly. But
I'll tell you in a minute why that doesn't count. So
no, yeah, I get you're probably going to say that. But anyway, apart from John Hurt,
yeah,
they're the 3 Doctors that have passed away. All the others are still alive, aren't they?
So Patrick Troughton has been now played by 3 different people. Patrick Troughton died. John Pertwee, I think Patrick Troughton done a 3 Doctors episode, but he was very ill at that point, which had him, Patrick Troughton, and John Pertwee in it. But all 3 of those have died now. From there on, John Hurt has died, like you alluded to.
Yeah, he was the most recent.
Everybody else is still alive.
He fell between 8 and 9.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we move on. There's Tom Baker, conscious of getting through all these particular ones. Tom Baker, which is the ones I watched with you. So there's some classic ones of them.
Number 4.
I remember most of those. Peter Davison came in then, and he was quite.
Interesting thing with Peter Davidson.
Well, it is now. Yeah, it's like ridiculous now the connection that he has with Doctor Who, because obviously you've got his daughter who played a character who was supposed to be Doctor Who's daughter when David Tennant played the Doctor, and then ended up marrying David Tennant.
Yeah, so her husband is the Doctor as well as her dad.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Both in the show.
yeah, it's bizarre. So Tom Baker, then Peter Davison, he was quite a... So it tends to be they look at actors of the time, and he was quite a popular actor, young actor as well at the time. Then Colin Baker came in. Now he
no relation to Tom Baker.
No relation to Tom Baker. Again, he was a classical actor. Came in and played the Doctor differently again because of a different sort of character in it. Wasn't as popular at first because he played quite a harsh sort of character in it. But he was just trying something different. And I think at that point, Doctor Who was on the wane. There were less people were watching it. BBC was more inclined to say, well, we're still going to do this. And then Sylvester McCoy ended up being the last Doctor of that. And in 1989, there was the last episode. And I think it had him and his... Because the Doctor's always had these companions, had him, and I think it was Ace, walking into the distance at the end. And that was it. That was going to be it. And no one really... There was the real core fans that might have been putting up a fuss about it, but not really. Not the general public were just moving on. It was a different sort of thing. It seemed to have outlasted, or they didn't seem to be putting... The Doctors that played them were great, but they didn't seem to be putting so much effort into the production of them. They tried again, Paul McGann.
I guess maybe funding getting pulled and stuff
exactly.
Like that,
In 1996, because the idea now to sell it to other countries. So they had a joint sort of made this TV film with Paul McGann, who...
That was part of the US, wasn't it?
With the US, which was okay, and even showed the regeneration from Sylvester McCoy. So Sylvester McCoy came back to do that.
That TARDIS was interesting, as I remember.
Well, yeah, then the TARDIS changed because I guess it had influence from other people that perhaps weren't so precious about what the TARDIS looked like or what everything should work.
Most of the stuff throughout most of the series up to that point, the TARDIS had looked very similar.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. It had this sort of very white interior with the sort of plates on the wall, which we did with our episodes, which I got a lot of trouble with your mum for nicking those.
Well, those plates were on the wall for months, weren't
they? Were, yeah. So that kind of came, and we all thought, oh, he's coming back. And then it went away again. It never had it. And I think Paul McGann's been very much it's still done they do a lot of audio books and all the rest of it. So it's been very heavily. And I think he would have made, long term, would have made a great Doctor. There had something about him.
There has been a lot of extra Doctor, not just the TV show, but there's been a lot of audiobooks, like you said, books, comics, all that kind of stuff that have happened, which are meant to be canon as such.
Yeah.
Because I remember reading some when I was a kid.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There were ones from there. Then we had a big gap, and then, like we say, in 2005, Doctor Who come back. I was massively excited by that time. As you alluded, I had a little boy that I could watch it with as well. It seemed to be the right thing. And 16 years after Sylvester McCoy's tenure, so I know that in between that there was a TV film, but that was really as a series. Got rebooted. It seemed that everybody was ready for it again. It had this new exciting writer, Russell T Davies, and others on board that took it over when he left.
And the technology had advanced quite a bit.
Technology advanced, so they could do some of the things, and it wouldn't look in today's age as sort of shaky sets or things like that.
Which is funny, to be
monsters.
fair. If you do look back at those episodes, they do look weird nowadays.
But there's some terrifying ones.
So good.
But they're terrifying, some of them, because they're not too elaborate. Sometimes you can go the opposite direction. So Christopher Eccleston came in. I think he probably was only going to do one series of it anyway, but he came in. He was a well-known actor. He was a very good actor, and really sort of it came back because of him, because of Billy Piper, who played his companion in it, Rose Tyler, who was brilliant. And, you know,
she was around for a few series as well.
And there's been that as well. There's been, so the Doctor might regenerate, but the companion might overlap those, and that's worked quite well.
They haven't done that in a couple of more recent series, in fairness.
No, they
Sometimes
haven't.
The companions only lasted one series, for example.
Yeah, but they used to. They used to be a lot more like you'd have Clara that spanned over, Rose Tyler spanned over, Eve. Amy Pond was just Matt Smith. Yeah, but yeah, there has been sort of different ones like that. Then he said he was going, so I thought, oh God, and they said there's a new actor going to take over. Who's this new actor? Well, he's been in a few things. His name's David Tennant. Oh, I wonder if he's going to be as good as Christopher Eccleston. Well, he's been, since taking over that role then.
He was like Mr. Doctor Who.
He's now, I mean, he did it.
Married into it.
3 seasons he did, 8 specials. But when he went, it was almost like, well, that's it. They can't survive after this because he is Doctor Who. Mm-hmm. Everybody loved him, you know, they still do. This is why he appears in specials and all the rest of it. But we've had a few more since then. Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi. Then they went rogue for what everybody felt like at the time, or it seemed that half of the nation were like, what? A woman doctor? But there was no reason for it. The Doctor's an alien anyway. He regenerates into whatever. So you could have had old and young, so why not have a woman? So I can remember when that was announced, you didn't see the regeneration, you just saw, it was I think before Wimbledon or something, because they knew they'd have loads of people watching, and you just saw a person with a hood walking through these trees and then unveiling themselves. And I remember it clearly because me and you sat there. But it's like everyone, you think, oh, are they going to be any good? I knew she was a brilliant actress, but like, are they going to be any good? And then weirdly,
wasn't as good as half series.
You've had different writers.
But it was Peter Capaldi.
People were kind of saying about that, but then to everybody's delight, Russell T Davies came back in as if to save the series, as if it needed saving. I didn't know if it did or not, and David Tennant arrived, so suddenly he was back. So they had to explain that, but he was a different Doctor and he was there for a particular reason. But he done 3 specials, and then we had to wait again. And then now our Doctor, and will be for at least the next season, and Ncuti Gatwa, as we said, someone you haven't seen playing the Doctor apart from the
brief bit,
the brief bit when he regenerated. So it's keeping going, you know. And
then David Tennant's still around because there was a bi-generation, which means that he's not gone anywhere, which means he can still keep doing stuff.
So bi-generation basically means that, and I looked it up, Every Doctor in the show's history has bi-generated, creating a Doctor Who multiverse. Bi-generation means that there could be an incredible number of Doctors in the Doctor Who universe, including multiple versions of the Valeyard. So the reason for David Tennant's reappearance is speculated as the way of him dealing with all the pain he is never able to process by going back to a familiar face so he could settle down with an old friend. And that's how it ended for him, like he was with Donna and the family. They brought back old companions into this. They've done it in a quite a good way, because there was always this sort of suffering for the companions. How do they cope with not being with the Doctors? And there was also almost like a self-help group, and they had them all sitting around, and that's what you would need because of what's happened. I
think I mentioned something a moment ago, just that I said about Peter Capaldi's Doctor and Jodie Whittaker's Doctor wasn't that great, but that actually probably is a bit unfair. I think as the actors, they were fine. They were pretty good. I just don't think the actual series were as good.
Yeah, you had an issue with some of the writing.
Yeah, it was just
which I didn't, to be fair, which is great, because that's the whole point. If some people like things, some people don't. I think there's always been episodes in every single season that I've not liked as much as others. And there's some absolutely outstanding ones. But I can probably think for most of the Doctors, there's episodes which I think these are incredible. These have been really, really good.
I think I've always been a big fan of the ones that are a bit more out there, fun, and stuff like that. So, like, for example, I was a big fan of, like, you know, the ones where they went to New Earth?
Yeah.
I thought those episodes were always really good when David Tennant was around.
Yep.
With the cats and stuff like that, and then they also had the one on the highway and stuff like that.
Yep.
But I wasn't so much of a fan of something when they tried to give, like, do you remember when they made The Moon Was an Egg?
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, that one wasn't.
That was Peter Capaldi, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a bit like.
But you know, it's like.
And then all of a sudden there was another egg.
If you got a season of stuff, they're trying new things out. Some of them will land, some of them won't. I suppose that's the point. And each one can't be a masterpiece, but they're trying different things.
That's true.
So. Other Doctors, the War Doctor, John Hurt, the Fugitive Doctor, Joe Martin. Don't know if you remember, we're in the. She was the Fugitive Doctor when it was Jodie Whittaker.
Yeah, I remember her. Yeah. She wore blue, didn't she?
There was films. There was 2 Dalek films, 2 Doctor Who and Dalek films, which had Peter Cushing playing the Doctor. And these were sort of around in the 60s, not long after William Hartnell was playing the Doctor. And at the same time as he was playing the Doctor, they released 2 feature-length films, which had someone completely different. Peter Cushing, you would know from playing the baddie in A New Hope. Tarkin.
Yeah, it's fun.
I didn't know if you knew that or not. I'm very conscious of time. TARDIS has changed. It seems now with every
Doctor
generation.
Apart from like David Tennant, Chris Ferguson to David Tennant, the TARDIS didn't change. But ever since then, it seems to have changed every single Doctor.
It has done, yeah. It does seem to have done that. And it seems like they've made that a character in itself where it's they've had an episode where you've seen the sort of a human version of the TARDIS, but it kind of reflects it while they're regenerating. That's regenerating as well. It's
arguably with Chris Ferguson to David Tennant, they spent a lot of money and it was just booting up. So would it have been worth getting rid of like the TARDIS and the sonic screwdriver and stuff like that? No, it probably wouldn't, and it would have cost more to do that. But ever since then, they've changed it up every time. And let's be perfectly open and honest about it, probably merchandising as well.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, because like all of a sudden you've got new TARDIS, which means I remember as a kid I used to collect the action figures, and I used to have the TARDIS playset as well. Well, if I was still buying stuff like that at the time, then I would have had to have got a new TARDIS playset, and I would have, even like the sonic screwdriver used to
They're
have,
all different.
I would have had to have got different sonic screwdriver.
And it makes sense they change with the person, but yes, absolutely merchandise. Even you haven't seen the new Doctor, but the new Doctor's got a sonic screwdriver like no other sonic screwdriver. It's almost flat, like a pager sort of thing that he uses. But
But then but to be fair, you've had different sonic screwdrivers. You had Sarah Jane Sonic Lipstick from the Sarah Jane Adventures
TV
TV series.
Lipstick, did she?
Sonic Lipstick. And then you had the Master had a sonic screwdriver as well, didn't you? And stuff like that. Torchwood, that's worth mentioning though. Torchwood and
so you've had the Sarah Jane
Adventures,
Adventures, which was more leaning towards kids.
It was on
based.
CBBC.
And you got Torchwood, which was very much leaning towards the adult audience. Which was
Captain Jack
in, and then there was the K9 and Friends that you had, which was the robot dog in it.
Yeah. Well, K9 was in Sarah Jane Adventures
as well, yeah.
And then she passed away.
Yeah, she passed away as well. But I think she had different. I think she was with John Pertwee and Tom Baker.
Yeah.
So and obviously David Tennant, because she appeared with him as well.
Yeah.
Just a couple more things then. Quick fire. Disney input. Is it a positive mood? Certainly the budget has increased, but it's now with Disney. Do you think that's a good thing, or do you think it's time will tell?
It's not with Disney. It's Disney's it's part of the production of it.
Yeah.
So it's still BBC production.
But would it be influenced by Disney?
Yeah, 100% it'd be influenced by Disney.
So
the amount of money they're putting in. And this is the thing. So within the UK, it shows on BBC.
Yeah.
They show it on BBC and BBC iPlayer. The rest of the world get it on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
At the same time, which never used to be the case. They'd get Doctor Who like a while after us, but they get it at the same time, but they get it on Disney Plus nowadays. I think it's good because allowing more people to watch it at the same time grows the brand as such and means that more money can be put into it, and it means it's got its longevity. It does mean that eventually maybe you get some other Doctor Who episodes on stuff like Disney Plus and streaming services.
They are looking to expand it out now, and you may,
start
by
to
a generation
too much.
Well, yeah, no, this is true, and we've seen a saturation of stuff like Marvel and
and Star Wars. Arguably, I like them, but arguably they've put so, and I think they've even said it about they've put so much into making these series that they're actually trying to pull back from it a little bit and not make as they always said about releasing so many Star Wars series every year, but now they go, no, let's not do that.
No, do something if it's a good idea and it sits well, and there've been some excellent stuff, but don't do it just for the sake of it. But then that's the difference between creativity and quality and money.
Yeah,
wanting to as much as it's popular, has been popular for a long while. Let's just ride the wave.
And the problem is, once you set a certain standard, people don't want it to dip below that standard.
So I guess from your point of view, you haven't seen the Disney effect on it really, because you haven't seen those episodes.
No, I haven't actually. Although they were doing those free with David Tennant.
Yeah, it's difficult to know, but that was with a familiar face. So this has completely changed now. So you've got a different companion, a different Doctor. There's a different vibe to it. I don't know whether the episodes were being pushed to the boundaries with some things. I certainly have got favourites amongst this season that he's just done. There's some really good ones, but there's some that I wasn't so keen on. But, it remains to be seen whether it's a positive thing. Hopefully it will be. Hopefully it'll get to a different audience or more of an audience. Okay, quickly, favourite Doctor from the classic series?
Tom Baker.
Absolutely, I agree with you there. Favourite Doctor from the new series?
David Tennant.
Matt Smith, I'm going to go with.
No.
Well, it's not your choice.
Your opinion.
It's not
I'm
your
just
choice.
saying, I liked Matt Smith, but Tom Baker... but David
Tennant's a close second.
Completely eclipsed him.
But no, I disagree entirely. Matt Smith is brilliant from the word go. I rewatched the first episode he's in, and he was just glorious from the minute he inhabited. And bear in mind, he was another fairly unknown actor, very young, and yet he inhabited the role like he was the age that the Doctor was.
So I think I agree in the fact he was good from the start. I think what ruined Matt Baker
was when he went off and done the gymnastics for the Olympics.
Matt Smith. What ruined Matt Smith wasn't so much him, it was the writing towards the end of his time on Doctor Who. The later episodes that he was in just weren't very good at all.
We agree to differ. I totally disagree with that. But favourite monster from the classic series? I suppose you're not going to really have something like that, are you?
Well, one that sticks in my mind is the green bubble wrap monster from
the Ark, I think it's
from the
called.
Ark,
Isn't it? Yeah. Fair enough. Quite menacing.
But I think Daleks will probably be up there as well.
I think definitely for me it's the sea.
If I'm ignoring stuff like Daleks and Cybermen, I think
Sea Devils for me from the classic series. As they were in the classic series, I very much didn't like the way they were portrayed.
The more recent one was awful, wasn't it?
What about the new?
Right, so again, I'm going to ignore the big ones.
Right.
And I'm going to say Slovene.
Nice. Slovene, the Parpin monsters.
The big green monsters.
Can you remember where they're from?
You know what? I can't.
It's got a really long name. I can't think what it is.
Oh, right. So
for me...
But they were in Doctor Who. They were in Christopher Eccleston's time. They were in David Tennant's time. They also made it their way into Sarah Jane Adventures. The problem is they've just completely dropped off since then.
Because I suppose they were almost comical.
But that's what I loved about 9th Doctor, 10th Doctor, and early Matt Smith as well, is it was comical. I think the later series took themselves too seriously. But at the same time... They tried too hard but didn't hit the mark.
Yeah, I suppose it's depending. They're looking at the audience and thinking what the audience want. For me, Weeping Angels. There's nothing that comes near it. So because they don't speak, because they move when you're not looking at them. It's everything that would scare me.
That's right. To be fair, that the kind of thing.
And
it was scary.
Great thing about that is the first episode they were in, Blink, hardly had the Doctor and it was Freeman Agyeman and Martha in it at all. And it was absolutely terrifying. And I think everything they've been in since, and it's still the fault of it, it even comes with laughed when you've been anywhere where there's statues, and now you'll say, well, watch out, keep your eye on them because they'll be right behind you.
And they still come up in popular culture and stuff like that. Well, that was plenty of chat.
There was plenty of chat. You can tell we both were interested in that subject matter.
Yep. I think we should have a song.
Okay, I've got a song for you. I've got to say now...
You always manage to do this. Just I think, I'm going to have a song, and then all of a sudden you've got one.
Because I've got a song, I'm going to put it in anyway.
You write one so quick, and you perform it live.
No, I don't perform it live. I might do that one of these days. But
maybe not.
Very fun. But this I found really, really difficult to do. I tried different ones, tried different ways of doing it, and I've ended up with the one I've got. It's just have to do it, and it's called Doctor Who Knows.
All right, I'll play your song.
In a London scrapyard in 63, something appeared which changed our history. 1 box, 2 hearts, an ever-changing face, an avenging angel from outer space. 15 and counting, they span through time. Which one's your favourite? I've got mine. A sonic screwdriver, a robot dog. Wherever there is trouble, you'll always find the doctor's blue box. But I don't know what to say to the last living child of Gallifrey. Take me for a trip in your weird blue box. If it's gonna take some time, I'll bring some extra socks. Old man, young man, a woman protects our little blue-green planet from galactic threats. There's not a star or moon that the doctor's not seen. An awkward hero and always has been. Cosmic rhinos and clockwork men. Cruel sea devils coming out the Thames. A long striped scarf and a cool red fez. This timeless time Lord protects us while we sleep in our beds. But I don't know what to say to the last Take me for a trip in your weird blue box. If it's gonna take some time, I'll bring some extra socks. But I don't know what to say to the last living child of Gallifrey. Take me for a trip in your weird blue box. If it's gonna take some time, I'll bring some extra socks.
Game time.
What a lovely song. Now, shall we play a game?
We can play a game. I thought for this one I'd do a back to the old multiple choice quiz. There's
Oh, no way.
audio bit or anything like that. I could have done it, I suppose, but
It just makes it a little bit easier, to be fair.
yeah, and to make it easier for you, I thought I'd do it about a certain section of the Doctor Who episodes. But if you could play my sting, that would be great.
Are you not going to tell me? You're going to wait for the sting to tell me what section of episodes?
Yeah, I'll tell you afterwards.
Okay.
Weeping angels and cybermen, beat the meat and Mavic Chen, terrorizing Earth since I don't know when. Hope you're not a chancer. Live in plastic and the family of blood. Dalek cyclones, don't forget the flood. Little weird hands sticking out of the mud. Hope you know the answers.
What a lovely sting.
Glad you liked it.
Thank you.
Good. Right, I'm going to be like a proper quiz master now and put a caveat in this. So it's a Doctor Who quiz, a quiz starting from the Russell T Davies reboot in 2005 till today, except the 15th Doctor because Connor hasn't watched it yet.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's spanning over all of those episodes. I've
Right.
got 10 questions. They're multiple choice questions. I think you'll be
Can
all
I
right
tell
with
you?
this.
There's 2 episodes that I've never watched in full.
Okay, go on then.
The 2 gas masks.
Have you never watched
I've
them?
never watched
Well,
this
'cause
in
they
full,
frighten you. They're
because they
very
freaked me out as a
frightening, yeah.
kid. They
Lost
freaked me out.
Child and the Doctor Dances.
That was
isn't it?
again Christopher Eccleston, wasn't it?
Yes.
So you got to remember how old I was at the time.
Captain Jack first came
Yeah.
into it then as well.
So I watched the first bit, but it freaked me out so much. I've never watched them in full. I've watched scenes
the
from
Lost
it.
Child?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Are you my daddy? Are you my mummy?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
stuff.
I'll come and do that while you're asleep. Come in the room, go. Are you my
No,
mummy?
because you will regret that. Because sometimes I have my bum out when I sleep, and you know that because
I
you walked
do.
in on me
Like the full moon.
after a night out, and I was a bit
Yes,
drunk,
it was
naked
quite
in
alarm.
my
I
bed.
thought you split your head open. Right, question 1. Which singer or band appeared in a Christmas special on a space age version of the Titanic? Was it A, Tom Jones? Was it B, Kylie Minogue? Or was it C, Chaz and Dave?
I'm pretty sure it was Kylie Minogue because she played a character, didn't she?
Yeah, Astra or Astrid she played and was the love interest
And
for
it had
David Tennant.
the guy that was from the Tracy Beaker series as well that worked on the dumping ground. He was in that episode with someone
he?
else. He was yeah.
I'm not very familiar with Tracy Beaker.
All right.
So, question 2. So that's 101. Question 2. The Sisters of Plenitude resemble which animal? Is it A,
Cats.
cat, a B, a dog, or C, a squirrel?
Cats. They're cat
Cats.
nuns.
They are cat nuns. Can I ask you not to shout out the answer before I've told you the three? I've spent quite a lot of time putting these. I did this while I was on holiday. Right. Question 3. That's 2 out of 2. Question what?
That had Cassandra when she first came
Yes.
into it as well. No, not when she first came into it. She first
No,
came
New
into
Earth.
it, but she was on New Earth, wasn't she?
She was on New Earth. Yeah,
She was
and
the
that
only
when
living human.
the
And then
last
it turns
living
out
human.
there was loads of humans on New Earth as well, wasn't there?
There was other ones.
So
but
it's
she was
funny how she happened to
Oh
be
no,
the
she
last-
was on. I'll tell you, she first,
appeared at the end of the world, wasn't it?
yeah, and then that was the second one.
With all
that
the
she
robot
was in.
spider things.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well done with David not David.
With Christopher
Eccleston. Question 3. The Unicorn and the Wasp features which famous author? A. Agatha Christie, B. Enid Blyton, or C. Katie Price? So, The Unicorn and the Wasp features which famous author?
What was the first one?
Agatha Christie.
Agatha Christie.
That is correct. That's 3 out of 3.
I don't know who the second one is.
Enid Blyton, noddy and big ears. She did.
Oh, right, okay.
We could have been. That's going to be in this series, this next series coming up. Question 4. Who conditioned River Song to kill the Doctor? Was it A, the Ood? Was it B, the Silence? Or was it C, the Cybermen? So who conditioned River Song, or who...
I don't really remember being conditioned to kill the Doctor, to be honest.
But there was a particular creatures at that time, which was why she did it.
Yeah, I think it's... Well, to be perfectly honest, I think the Ood doesn't make sense. Because they were only bad because they had their orbs. And they're refitted.
Someone put some bad stuff in their orbs.
It
orbs. Can happen.
Cybermen, bit too on the nose. Maybe Silence, because they had a whole series about the Silence.
The Silence. It was the Silence. That's 4 out of 4.
Which everyone forgot about.
What?
The Silence.
Yeah, because you did forget about them after. That was quite creepy. Though.
Yeah, it was.
I watched an episode with them in the other night as prep for this, and in fact, I'd like to go back and
Wasn't
watch
there an episode where they're in a prison and there's a Silence in the cage next to the Doctor or something like that?
Might have been, yeah. That might have been Jodie Whittaker.
Yeah, I think it was. Did the Jadoon catch her? Yeah, they
did. Yes, they did,
yeah.
yeah. Well, here we go. Question 5. Which of these is not
Rhino Men.
Rhino Men. Which of these is not an episode from the 10th Doctor's tenure?
I don't remember the episode names. If Ellis, my mate, was here, he knows all of them.
Is it A?
It's going to be very on the nose and obvious.
Gridlock.
Right, I know Gridlock. That's the one I mentioned.
Turn left.
Yeah, I remember Turn Left.
Or is it C? The Girl in the Fire Engine.
The Girl in the Fire Engine is the fake one. That was very obvious, actually, as it turns out. I remember both the other episodes.
For that, you didn't need to get stressed out about that.
I wouldn't have remembered the names of them, but then as soon as you said them, like, oh, I know the episode.
It was The Girl in the Fireplace.
Because Gridlock was the one I mentioned with the highway.
Yes, it was. And you'd already mentioned the cat, nuns.
And then Turn Left was the one with Donna Noble, where it was a difference.
And the Doctor was hardly anything. Yeah, what would have happened? It's one of those sliding doors sort of thing about it. Question 6. Many of the Doctors have catchphrases, but what was Matt Smith's 11th Doctor fond of saying? Was it A, fantastic? Was it B, Geronimo? Or was it C, Alonzi? I could do it in the accents.
So fantastic. The thing is with this one is instantly when you said it, Geronimo came into my head, but I don't think that was him. But fantastic was Christopher Eccleston. Alonzi. Oh, I feel like I can see him wearing his fez and saying it. I'm going to go with Alonzi.
Alonzi? No, that was David Tennant. It was Geronimo.
Oh, I was right. My instant thought was right.
Yes. Never mind. Oh, no.
I've lost interest.
No. Question 7. The Doctors hardly ever travel alone, but which one of these is not one of the 13th Doctor's companions?
Hang on 2 seconds. Just reminding myself who the 13th Doctor is.
Jodie Whittaker.
Yeah.
So she had a number of companions. Which one of these wasn't one? A, Ian. B, I've just realised why you've laughed then. B, Ryan. Or C, Dan.
Ian.
It is Ian. That's because that's my go-to name whenever I've just realised.
It's because everyone else's is Dave, but you can't do that one.
No, that's quite right.
Name.
That's my name. It really annoys me. Question 8. When Doctor Who relaunched back in 2005, we were introduced to a brand new Doctor and Rose, who would end up travelling with him on his adventures. What was her occupation when she met him? Was she A, a cleaner? Was she B, a traffic warden, or was she C, a shop assistant?
She was a shop assistant.
She was a shop assistant.
Because the Autons was the first episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that was the dummies in there. Okay, question 9, the penultimate question. Madam Vastra, Jenny Flint and Strax are a trio who help the Doctor at his time of need.
Remember them.
But what do they call themselves? Is it A, the Red Hand Gang? Is it B, the Paternoster Gang? Or is it C, Call Them the Gang?
So just to clarify, it's the two lesbians, the lesbian lizard lady and the lesbian...
It's a wife, yeah, just because, yeah, they are lesbians, but yes...
And then it's
the Soltara Drax, who thinks everybody who thinks what's her name?
Who thinks everyone's a boy, don't they?
Yeah, boy, you look like a boy to me. Yeah,
he's angry. So sorry, the first one was the Red Hand Gang.
Red Hand Gang, the Paternoster Gang, or Call Them the Gang.
Paternoster Gang.
It is Paternoster Gang. That's where the street where they meet. And your final question. Peter Capaldi's first full episode as a Doctor, which it featured the Paternoster Gang as well, was titled... Yeah,
That's
I know.
Right.
I'll try that again. Peter Capaldi's first full episode as the Doctor was titled what? A, Deep Breath. B, Deep Pan. C, River Deep, Mountain High.
Deep breath.
See, I make these things too easy for you. 9 out of 10.
I should have gone with my instant thought. I even said it before I said it.
You did say it before you said it. Perhaps if you didn't say it again, you'd have got it right.
Yeah.
So there you go. And that is the end of my little Doctor Who quiz. I hope you enjoyed it.
So who had said Alonzi? That was David Tennant.
Alonzi? Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
One of the first thing Matt Smith says when he crashes in the TARDIS,
and Amy Pond's
like the little Amy Pond comes out and he jumps in.
Fish fingers and custard.
Yeah, it is brilliant. When you see it, I like saying, no, what are you trying to do, poison me? And it's such a great start to it. But because the TARDIS is on its side and he's climbed out with one of the old grapple hooks.
The Amy Pond bits were good. I think it's when Clara came into it, because I don't think Clara was very good.
I like Clara.
I think the actress was fine, but I just don't think the actual character was very good.
Well, there you go. But there you go.
Amy Pond was good.
That's diving.
Sorry, this is Dad's new catchphrase.
My new catchphrase.
Because they said it in the Olympics this morning. But that's diving.
That's diving. I'm going to use that as much as possible from now on.
When it makes no sense.
Yes. Okay.
All right, fair enough. We'll just let you know we've just won a silver medal in the cycling.
Who's told you that, or you've got updates
on my watch?
Oh, right. It's not Mum sending things through to you.
So yeah. Well, thank you for that, Dad. That was a good quiz. I enjoyed that.
Good. I'm glad to see you enjoyed it.
And that takes us to the end of the episode. So just to let you know, if you do want to make any complaints about anything that happened in this episode, or you've got questions, suggestions, or comments, you can send those to us on the website, fatherandsundays.com, and then go to the Contact Us page, or you can email us at contactus@fatherandsundays.com. I'm always very careful about how I say that.
You are now. You said something a bit dodgy the other week as well, but we sort of skirted over that a bit. But
right.
Well done. You like a professional now.
Yeah, all the episodes are available on the website, but you can also get those on your chosen podcast platform.
Oh, you hadn't finished yet?
I haven't finished, no. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, X, follow, share on those. Probably the best one being Facebook at the moment, because Dad posts on that.
Yep, and no one does anything else on anything else.
Don't do anything else at the others at the moment, this very moment in time. Yeah, I think that's it for me.
Okay, good. Next week, we've got another episode in our series about biomes.
Yep.
And it's swamps.
Yeah, swamps.
Quite looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's bye from me.
Bye.